Let's talk about the Houston Rockets because they deserve a ton of credit on what they're building. Last year, I saw flashes of their potential, and they turned it up at the end of the season, tried to push for a play-in spot. Didn't work out. I know Sangoon had that injury, but Jalen Green went crazy. Then you go into this season. Jalen Green has been inconsistent, but he's been really good in January. He's had a few duds. I like how he bounced back after he wasn't scoring a lot in that Celtics game. He had 25 points last night against Atlanta. They could have lost that game after turning the ball 21 times in that game against Atlanta, but they stuck together. They got it done. And it could have been a trap game because you had that emotional win in Boston. Dylan Brooks went crazy from three, and Amen Thompson had his game-winning shot. He even talked about how he felt like Kobe in that press conference. So you like what you're seeing from Houston. Let's talk about Ime Udoka. This is one of the best coaches in the NBA. I hate to see him in Houston because I think if he was in Boston right now, I do believe we see a better version of Jason Tatum. I don't think we see the Celtics jacking up 53s either because Ime coaches different and he gets the best average basketball players. So it would have been nice if he stayed in Boston. I'm not sure about the offense, what that would look like, but I think defensively he would have these guys playing much better, in my opinion. And you look at what Ime Udoka has built in Houston. He deserves a ton of credit. His second season coaching this team, and they're second in the Western Conference. You have Sangoon, who's under the age of 25. Jalen Green is 22 years old. Jabari Smith is 21 years old. Amen Thompson, I believe he's 21 years old. He's his second season in the league, and he's looking like a future superstar. If he works on that jump shot and gets better there, Amen Thompson is going to be a special player. We don't know his ceiling right now. So I love what Ime's building here. And then you look at Amen Thompson, and you're like, man, he's got all the defensive tools. He's really good at finishing around the rim, really good at going downhill. The only thing he's got to work on is his jump shots and his playmaking. If he can get the 4 assists a night and he can shoot 35, 37% from three, and he can shoot in the mid range from 45 to 50%, all of a sudden it's like, man, this guy's unstoppable. Now we know he needs to work on his offensive game, his dribbling, and his playmaking and his shooting. But outside of that, this would be the worst version of Amen Thompson, which means that he could still contribute on a championship level team, maybe as a third or fourth option. But he has potential to be the number one option. To me, he's either going to be like Andre Iguodala, which is not bad, or he's going to be a Kawhi Leonard. Remember, Kawhi came in the league struggling on offense. He got better on that end. He was really good defensively. So Amen Thompson is only going to get better, and that's the scary part. And just looking at his numbers, again, he's just his second season, but less than 5 feet, he's at 69.4% from the field. That's where he takes most of his shots. Less than 8 feet, again, 66.7. And then in the restricted area, 72.1% from the field. And overall, his percentages is 56% from the field overall. So, yeah, you want to see the three-point shooting get better, but you just want to see flashes. Again, he was coming off the bench. He was getting, I believe, 22, 23 minutes last year. He's up to 30 this year. So his role is increasing. He's getting more reps. And as he continues to develop and get more playing time, he's only going to improve his game. So what's the most intriguing part about the Houston Rockets? There are 3 things for the Rockets. Number one, who's going to be their number one option going forward? Right now, it looks like Jalen Green, but it could be Amen Thompson. Is it going to be Sangoon? So they have these 3 guys who are playing better together. They're really good. They love playing alongside each other. But Amen Thompson has the potential to be the best player for this roster. Jalen Green, could he be the best player? They have a really good situation going on in Houston, and they play unselfish. They play together. They have vets in Dylan Brooks, Van Fleet, and Jeff Green to hold them accountable. And of course, Ime Udoka is going to hold this team accountable. He's going to call them out if they're playing like trash. So you just love what you see from Houston here because they've got a young core. Also, let's talk about their draft capital. They have the 2027 Suns draft pick. Look at where the Suns right now. They're going to blow it up very soon. So that pick might become very valuable in the future. Then on top of that, you have the Nets 2027 pick, which is a pick swap. And you have other draft capital. So Houston is in a really good spot right now because they could eventually make a blockbuster trade. They could go out and get a guy and pair him alongside Amen Thompson and Jalen Green and Sengun. Or they move off Jalen Green because they don't think he can reach that number one ceiling option. They think Amen's better. I love what Houston has here. The second thing that I'm intrigued by is the potential to get a blockbuster deal done. We just talked about the draft capital, what they have available in assets. They can move off a guy like Jalen Green if he doesn't live up to his potential. They can move off Van Fleet and Dylan Brooks if they need to just to entice that trade package. And they can get a guy like Luka Doncic if he's unhappy in Dallas, where you look at Kyrie, yeah, he's good right now, but how many good years does he have left? He's getting older in age. You have different options available. So if I'm Houston right now, I'm standing pat. I know Darren Fox is in trade rumors. He's going to be linked to Houston going forward, but I would just wait. He's going to be a free agent next year. You might as well just sit on the sideline and see how that whole thing plays out. And if Fox walks, you do a sign and trade. All of a sudden, you've upgraded at the point guard position. Another thing to keep in mind is Reed Shepard. What's his role going to be on this roster? Is he ever going to play for the Rockets? And if not, you can move him eventually for a veteran like guy or a really good bench guy who can bring production off that bench. So Houston has a lot of different intriguing things going on. They're doing the right things. They've drafted well. They've developed players. And you have a guy in Amen Thompson where you don't know his ceiling yet. Like, what is his potential? It's unlimited. You don't know how good Jalen Green's going to be. You have 4 guys under 25 years old. Sengun, Jabari Smith, Jalen Green, and Amen Thompson. Now, Jabari Smith is looking like a really solid role player, but do you keep him in the future? So Houston has a lot of good things going for them, and you have a fantastic coach in Ime Udoka. The only thing Houston needs at this point is playoff experience. So we'll see how far they go in the West. I think they have the chance to make the Western Conference Finals. Outside of that, I don't know. But we've seen Ime Udoka take a young Boston Celtics team 3 seasons ago and get to the NBA Finals. So that's not out of the question. We don't know how good the Rockets are going to be in the playoffs. Maybe they drop off in the second round because of experience. Maybe they drop off in the first round. I don't know, but I like where they're heading. They're doing all the right things. They're taking the right steps. And Rockets fans, you guys should be excited for this team. You know, you had the James Harden's days where obviously he won MVP. You got the Rockets in deep playoff runs, but they just ran into the Warriors. So the team they're going to run into now is going to be the Thunder, most likely for the future. So you just got to keep building this roster, stay patient, and if there's a trade you can make, like for a superstar player that will elevate this roster to winning championships, you make that move. Because what that does is you show your fans that, look, we're serious, we hear you, and you keep him in Thompson. I think he's untouchable. Right now, Jalen's untouched. Jalen Green's untouchable. Of course, Sangoon's untouchable. The reason why I say Jalen Green might be a tradable asset because we don't know if he's going to reach that number one option potential because he's had some inconsistencies with scoring. So obviously he's been better in January, but we'll see if that trend continues and if he doesn't reach a specific ceiling that you want him at. You make a move for a guy like Luka Doncic because you upgrade the roster. But outside of that, stand pat. Don't make any moves. See what happens in the playoffs, and then reevaluate the roster for this summer, and you go from there. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the growth of the Houston Rockets. What is their ceiling this year in the playoffs? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.